Evening and welcome to Frank Almo's Visual Audio Readout. I'm Saloma Deidre, your host and guide to the vast treasures of knowledge read for your enjoyment. Each week, celebrities and those verbose in the higher realms read to you live, unedited, from the rarest books in the world, courtesy of Frank Almo's prized personal library. So please, sit back, enjoy, and may wonder and truth fill your heart. Of which monsters before mentioned, I will here give a striking example from Helmont, for he says, a merchant of Aegina, a countryman of his, failing various times unto the Canaries, was asked by Helmont for his serious judgment about certain creatures, which the mariners frequently brought home from the mountains, as often as they went, and called them squills, for they were dried, dead carcasses, almost 3-footed, and so small that a boy might easily carry one of them upon the palm of his hand, and they were of an exact human shape, but their whole dead carcass was clear or transparent as any parchment, and their bones flexible like gristles. Against the sun, also, their bowels and intestines were plainly to be seen, which thing I say, by Spaniards there born, know to be true. I considered that to this day the destroyed race of the pygmies were there, for the Almighty would render the expectations of the evil spirit, supported by the abominable actions of mankind, void and vain, and he has therefore manifoldly saved us from the craft and subtlety of the devil, unto whom eternal punishments are due, to his extreme and perpetual confusion, unto the everlasting sanctifying of the divine name. Chapter 2. Of the wonders of natural magic displayed in a variety of sympathetic and occult operations throughout the families of animals, plants, metals, and stones, treated of miscellaneously. The wonders of animal magic we mean fully to display under the title of magnetism, but here we hasten to investigate by what means, instruments, and effects we must apply actives to passives, to the producing of rare and uncommon effects, whether by actions, amulets, allegations, or suspensions, or rings, papers, unctions, fumigations, allurements, sorceries, enchantments, images, lights, sounds, or the like. Therefore, to begin with things more simple, if any one shall, with an entire new knife, cut asunder a lemon, using words expressive of hatred, consumely or dislike, against any individual, the absent party, though at an unlimited distance, feels a certain inexpressible and cutting anguish of the heart, together with a cold chilliness and failure throughout the body. Likewise of living animals, if a live pigeon be cut through the heart, it causes the heart of the party intended to affect with a sudden failure. Likewise, fear is induced by suspending the magical image of a man by a single thread. Also death and destruction by means similar to these, and all these from a fatal and magical sympathy. Likewise of the virtues of simple animals, as well as manual operations, of which we shall speak more anon, the application of hare's fat pulls out a thorn. Likewise, any one may cure the toothache with the stone that is in the head of the toad. Also, if any one shall catch a living frog before sunrise, and he or she spits in the mouth of the frog, will be cured of an asthmatic consumption. Likewise, the right or left eye of the same animal cures blindness, and the fat of a viper cures the bite of the same. Black hellebore easeth the headache, being applied to the head, or the powder snuffed up the nose in a moderate quantity. Coral is a well-known preservative against witchcraft and poisons, which if worn now, in this time, as much round children's necks as usual, would enable them to combat many diseases which their tender years are subjected to, and to which, with fascinations, they often fall a victim. I know how to compose coral amulets, or talismans, which, if suspended even by a thread, shall, God assisting, prevent all harms and accidents of violence from fire, or water, or witchcraft, and help them to withstand all their diseases. Paracelsus and Helmont both agree that in the toad, although too irreverent to the sight of man, and so noxious to the touch, and of such strong violent antipathy to the blood of man, I say, out of this hatred, divine providence hath prepared us a remedy against manifold diseases most inimical to man's nature. The toad hath a natural aversion to man, and this sealed image, or idea of hatred, he carries in his head, eyes, and most powerfully throughout his whole body. Now that the toad might be highly prepared for a sympathetic remedy against the plague or other disorders, such as the ague, falling sickness, and various others, and the terror of us, and natural inbred hatred, may the more strongly be imprinted and higher ascend in the toad, we must hang him up aloft in a chimney by the legs, and set under him a dish of yellow wax, to receive whatsoever may come down, or fall from his mouth. Let him hang in this position, in our sight, for 3 or 4 days, at least till he is dead. Now we must not omit frequently to be present in the sight of the animal, so that his fears and inbred terror of us, with the ideas of strong hatred, may increase, even unto death. So you have a most powerful remedy in this one toad for the curing of 40,000 persons infected with the pest or plague. Van Helmont's process for making a preservative amulet against the plague is as follows. In the month of July, in the decrease of the moon, I took old toads, whose eyes abounded with white worms hanging forth into black heads, so that both his eyes were totally formed with worms, perhaps 50 in number, thickly compacted together, their heads hanging out, and oft as any one of them attempted to get out, the toad, by applying his forefoot, forbade its utterance. These toads being hung up and made to vomit in the manner before mentioned, I reduced the insects and other matters ejected from the toad,